What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 1%er podcast. I'm your co-host, Justin, and I'm excited for this interview, guys. We have probably one of the best business minds that we've ever had on the show. He's one of the original sharks of Shark Tank. He's pretty much the inventor of the infomercial. Billy Mays, George Foreman, he's behind them all. And he has done over $5 billion in revenue, guys. We have Kevin Harrington. Kevin, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
I'm loving listening to you guys. I don't need to say anything. Just keep talking.
It's an honor.
Thank you.
Privilege to have you.
No, I appreciate that. Hey, look, you mentioned been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. My dad, I'm one of 6 kids, and a big Irish Catholic family in Cincinnati, Ohio. And as I was growing up, my dad was a bartender, but he said, I'm not going to be a bartender forever. I'm going to save up some money and open up my own bar. So he opened Harrington's Irish Pub. I started working in his restaurants when I was 11 and got a really good work ethic. But then my dad said, now it's time for you to own your own business. And I was 15. So he mentored me. And, I love that word mentor. And you mentioned my new book coming out, Mentor to Millions. I've been mentoring folks now for many years, but I've had some of the greatest mentors, starting with my father. And who knows, like my dad is like, you've got to get a business, go make some extra income, because he says, I'm paying you hourly. And by the way, it was $1 an hour is what I was making. And I was working a 40-hour week when I was in my teens, right? So he said, you can make way more money running your own business. And so I went from making literally $40 a week to over $1,000 a week back when I was in my teens. So it was pretty cool to see that. And this was because my father pushed me. And then, of course, I needed other mentors along the way. And then I started the infomercial business. And so we started using finance mentors, to help us get financing. I'll never forget the first financial mentor that I brought in. I had gone to all the banks trying to get money because we were growing and our business was taking off. We were selling products on TV, as seen on TV. So we were selling Ginsu knives, the Food Saver, Tony Little Fitness, Jack LaLanne and the Juicer, George Foreman. All these products were going like this, but we needed money to finance inventory and production and media. So I'd been turned down by banks because we were a startup. We didn't have we had no hard assets they could lend against. But I found a mentor in the world of finance. This guy came in, he said, Kevin, it's all about how you create the pitch to the bank and all your preparation, et cetera, et cetera. We went in to one of the banks that had turned me down, and he got me a $3 million line of credit. We went then from 80 million a year, we grew the business to over $500 million because we were able to get financed. So I just got to say, if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, hope you have a mentor. Things have been a little tougher lately with the COVID situation, right? So this is one of the things that I love to talk about.
It's crazy because you have already helped so many people become millionaires. You're the guy where people...
Dozens, probably over 100 people at least.
Yeah, you're the guy where people are like, come up with a product, they don't know how to bring it to market, or they're stuck somewhere. You take their product, you take the market, you help them scale it, making millions. You're that guy that helps, up and coming entrepreneurs with their ideas to take them to the next level. And now with your book, what are you trying to do with your book? You're trying to just, do it at a more massive scale across the board.
Yeah. So, what was pretty cool for me, I spent, it's been 38 years now doing what I do. And so as I was coming along, I wasn't focused on me as much as I was the product. So yeah, I met Billy Mays. We did tons of stuff with Billy. We built an amazing brand, and God bless, he's passed away now. But same thing with Tony Little. Then we started
George Foreman.
Had a little more of a track record, like Jack LaLanne. He was a famous guy, but not in the infomercial space. We did his first infomercial. Of course, now with George Foreman, not only do we do old infomercials, but way back to help him grow, but we just did a new one. It's called Knockout pain cream, and it's with CBDs because he's the knockout punch guy, right? So all these years I was building these other brands, and then one day I got mentored by Richard Branson. And Richard Branson said, Kevin, you build all these other brands, you never built your own. So I said, okay, I got to start, building my brand. I focused on creating content, writing some books. And so now I was focused on getting out there and influencing and mentoring more so, because this was helping me build my own brand. And actually, as I was creating books and content, that's how Mark Burnett found me, and I got on Shark Tank. So the evolution worked very well. Go create some amazing products and businesses as seen on TV, some amazing successes, then build my own brand. And so now, looking at where I am, I said to myself, the one thing that I've had some Amazon bestsellers, etc., never had a New York Times bestseller. So I went to one of the biggest publishers out there that's very powerful called Hay House. They then said, hey, Kevin, we're going to support you. We're going to get a big PR push behind your next book. So we've got publicity coming. We got public relations. We got all kinds of great plans for this book, Mentored to Millions, because it's sort of like, for me, the bucket list. Hey, been on Shark Tank, for years, right? Now, hey, why not a New York Times bestseller or a big successful book? That's I've had books, but this one is going to be the big kahuna. So I'm looking to get this out there, and it falls right in line with what I've been doing for the last number of years, which is I'm now more focused on helping entrepreneurs. I'm joining boards. I'm on 9 public boards right now. So this is mentoring companies, board of directors, entrepreneurs, all of those kinds of things. And I still do a few products here and there because I'll never get away from that. I still love the product business. We've got stuff in Walmart, Target, QVC, Amazon, crushing it with all these kinds of things too. So, hey, it's a lot of fun. Every day is different and enjoyable for me because I get to move and work with different kinds of really cool entrepreneurial startups and companies that are out there building their business.
Kevin, looking back, you were always the guy behind the scenes. The difference between you and Lori was that Lori would get on QVC and she would talk about the product. You were behind the scenes, with the products and coaching everybody doing it and all that kind of stuff, and so now you decided that, I'm going to actually come out and build my own brand and now be able to all the knowledge that you have over the past, 38 years you've been doing this, now you're going to be able to put it in a book. Everything that you learn, that anybody, that can pick up this book and learn step by step, pretty much everything that you learn in this lifetime.
That's it. I mean, it's, I've talked about just a few mentors. I mentioned my father. I mentioned a finance guy. I mentioned Richard Branson. I mean, people say to me, but how did you get, to Richard Branson? I wasn't the big famous guy at that time. I made a donation to his charity and I got a chance to go hang with him for 3 days in Necker Island. Okay. So there are techniques you can use. I mean, a entrepreneur came to me and his business was selling products to the military. And so he sold to the military bases and AFIs and that kind of thing, right? So he says, Kevin, what ideas do you have for me? How would you help me grow my business? And I live in Tampa, Florida. We have MacDill Air Force Base here. And MacDill is Central Command for the United States Air Force and military. And so I said, you know what? I've been out to the MacDill Air Force Base. And one of the things that impressed me was they have all these retired generals who, used to be in command, but now they're retired. And what's their business model? They want to consult and help businesses open doors because they got to a general position inside the military, right? So he said, wow, he says, well, how would you get a general to help us? We went out, talked to a couple ex-generals at MacDill Air Force Base, and we said, how about you join us as an advisor? And we're a startup, so what kind of fee would you normally get? Oh, like, hey, I'd love to get like $5,000 a month. So I said, okay, so how about we do a deal where, because this is a startup, we're going to accrue $5,000 a month for 3 months. We're not going to pay you, but at the end of 3 months, we'll now have seen the fruits of your efforts and increase sales and open introductions. And at the end of 90 days, we'll pay you retroactively back for the 3 months because we'll have the sales to cover it. Now, this is a no money down deal to get an advisor, consultant, mentor. This guy came on, opened up amazing doors, increased cash flows, and more than paid for himself within 90 days. And it was this is a no-lose situation because for 90 days, you got someone working for you at the general level for free. And so these are the kinds of things that you can do to get amazing people working for you.
I love the fact how you worded that and how you structured that deal. And I always tell all the entrepreneurs that I talk to is the old risk reversal, right? Risk reversal. It has to be a win-win and no lose situation. When somebody do a business, if it's a win-lose, it's not going to be a good deal in either side. And I love how you structured that. There was a no-lose situation, and there's all the upside and very minimal downside.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's risk reversal. I have another kind of similar technique that I use when we test products, by the way, and for entrepreneurs that are out there. In the old days, before kind of internet and Facebook and Instagram, it was just TV. I was As Seen on TV. I owned As Seen on TV Inc., AsSeenOnTV.com. We had thousands of products on the .com. We were doing tens of millions of dollars in sales on AsSeenOnTV.com. But people in our business, they would produce an infomercial, which was very costly, and then buy media. And they'd spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even more, and find out it didn't work. And I said, that's a very risky, costly way to do business. That was my business model, by the way. Once the internet hit and we were able to get on Facebook and pinpoint all the different target points, we were able to put up a little funnel, drive people to the funnel, and for $5,000, we could buy some ads, build a funnel, drive traffic, and see if we had something before we went and spent a couple $100,000. So we call it test before you invest. And so that's my new business model. And I work with entrepreneurs and walk them through the test before you invest model. And now, for cents on the dollar of what we used to spend, we're able to test products. And this is one of the things, I say, has Amazon and the internet and Facebook, has it been good or bad for you as a marketer? And hey, Amazon, it's an outlet for us. Initially, we found all the knockoffs were knocking us off on Amazon. Now we've shut them all down. We're able to legally do that. And we sell a lot of products on Amazon. So we embrace Amazon. We embrace Facebook and Instagram. And it's the new model, and it's working for us very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, because right now you're mentoring all these people watching. And you've listened to hundreds of pitches. You've been involved in hundreds of companies. And so I want to know what separates a good pitch from every other one. What separates that Shark Tank winner versus every single person that comes on there and flops?
And so just to give you a number, believe it or not, I've taken 50,000 pitches over the last number of years. Now, I've been doing this for 38 years. So when you think of it that way, it's not too outrageous. But I mean, I go to the Houseware show in Chicago, and they lined up 100 people, and actually it turned out to be 97 because 3 got tired and went elsewhere. But I took 97 pitches over a 5-hour period, giving them 3 to 5 minutes each. And so, I mean, you learn a lot just doing that, but I've done that hundreds of times. Okay. So, I mean, do the math. I take pitches every day. I mean, I jump in an Uber And the guy looks around. He's like, where have I seen you? Hey, I've got you for 20 minutes. I'm going to pitch you. The worst one's when I jump on a massage table and
Oh God, you can't even relax.
oh my God, I got a shark for an hour. I'm going to pitch the hell out of it. He said, if you want to get paid when I'm done, you better start massaging and no more talking. Okay. I'll take your pitch when I'm done because this is the reason why I'm getting this massage. But the bottom line is this, is I have a formula that I look for. Number one, you got to get their attention. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it could take about an hour or so to really dive deep, but there's a couple things I look for. I want to see, number one, I want to see some amazing transformations, okay? Magical transformations. And think of proactive skincare. They show somebody with a lot of acne and then clear skin. In Tony Little Fitness, we show somebody 200 pounds. They want to get down to 120. We show them 200, 120. They lost weight before, after. So I call it magical transformation with great testimonials. But you also, you need to start with unique positioning of your service or your product. And the first thing I want to hear, and kind of more taking this in order, get my attention, show me a problem, solve that problem, use magical transformations and great testimonials and demonstrations. So that's sort of and some people say, well, does that apply for products and services? And I say, yes. A service solves a problem. And this is one of the defining criteria that I look for. The unique positioning. Is your product or service unique enough such that no other product or service solves the problem in a similar fashion? Okay? And I'll say it one more time for those listening. So I want you to solve a problem, and I want you to solve it uniquely such that no other product or service solves it in a similar fashion.
Because you don't want to knock off product and a Me Too product. You want something that's unique. And yeah, I 100%. I hate when there is a pitch and I'm like, well, what's the difference between? Oh, well, mine is a little cheaper. Nah.
When people do that to me, I'm like, no interest. I don't knock people off. Hey, I can do the same thing. So what? It's already being done. Okay, like But one of the things that I do talk about is adding functions, though. So if something's out there and it does one thing, and you've got something that does that plus 4 more functions, that's something that I'm interested in. It's above and beyond, right? So, I mean, I give the example, Stanley Steamer used to clean my carpets, and, they come out 4 times a year, and the same guy would come out. It was great. One day I get a knock at the door, and the guy from Stanley Steamer's there, I thought. He's like, hey, I left Stanley Steamer. And I said, oh, wow. I said, welcome, congratulations. What's your new deal? He said, well, I do everything Stanley Steamer does with the same exact equipment, and I'm the guy that was doing it. So if I told you I can come clean your carpets and do everything they did, same equipment, same installer, but I'm going to clean your grout and your tile absolutely free, would you be interested? I said, do it today. Let's do it, right? So yes, add more features, more benefits at the same price. Yes, that's a good pitch.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, you've listened to it, so everybody listening right now, they need to tune in, take notes, and everything. Another thing is you've been on, like I was saying before, hundreds of companies. You've done over billions of dollars. What are some of the things that you look for in an entrepreneur when you're investing with them? And maybe not the product, maybe not the pitch, but what are you looking for in a person where it's like, hey, this is for you. Maybe their product is wrong, but they have something in them. What is that you look for?
That's a great question. I think when I look at entrepreneurs, I do get I get very nervous if I see an entrepreneur that I like to see headstrong and I like to see vision and all of that, but I want to see somebody that's willing to listen and willing to take and make some changes, because I've seen some entrepreneurs, no, I know what I'm doing. I don't care what you have to say. Thanks.
I don't care what you have to say.
I just want your money, okay? And it's like, look, if it's just my money, it may not be here afterwards, okay? So I want to know that they're going to be willing to,
coachable.
move things around a little bit based on some of the things you're going to learn. This is why I say test before you invest. Some people are like, no, I'm going all in. I want, I need millions right now, and boom, 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 and I want to spend it. So I look for somebody that has a vision, but's willing to listen and willing to allow other team members to join. And I'll admit that when I was a young entrepreneur, I was a little bit too much of an egotist myself. And that's not a good thing. I learned through failure and, just absolutely fail a few times when you thought you were king, and that'll put you in your place. Okay. So I failed hundreds of times, right? I mean, when I say I've done over 500 products, only 150 of them worked. 350 of them bombed. Okay. So go through 350 bombs with your own money. Okay. And then decide, I'm going to listen to other people, right? Yeah. I've done a lot of listening. So, an entrepreneur is got to be willing to get the right people. I call it building a great dream team and bringing in some of the right coaches and mentors and that kind of thing. So I also look for an industry that has, good growth opportunities. And, I can mention one of the companies I've been involved with. It was an energy drink, came to me about 5 years ago. And this, think about 5 years ago, Red Bull, Monster, powerful. And these guys are coming in, hey, we've got an energy drink. We want to go head to head against Red Bull and Monster. Okay. And this was a little company called Celsius. And so
we have some in the fridge. We have some in the fridge right now.
Okay, so I'm involved with that company. I'm one of the shareholders and board members, and I helped shape the company as being part of that board for the last 5 years. And this is the phenomenal side of this. We said, we're not going to go as seen on TV. I'm an as seen on TV guy. No, you can't. It's got a lot of water in it because it's energy drink. It's not they do have a powder, but it's too heavy to really ship to the consumer. Amazon does, but on a national basis, we decided retail distribution, but let's support it with influencers. So fitness influencers. So we brought on Flo Rida, who was a fitness guy. He brought on Khloe Kardashian, and boom, the world turned around. All of a sudden, we got hundreds of fitness influencers. COVID hits. During COVID, sales were up because the influencer pushing it. Here's a company, stock. I joined the company 5 years ago. The stock was 22 cents. And it went last week to $10. Okay. There's very few companies in the world that have ever done that. Okay. Do the math. It's unbelievable. We've created a $700 million business because we had a focus of using influencers and supporting that in the retail distribution model. We're in 165,000 stores now around the world. So, these are the things that I love. And hey, we've made a lot of money. There's been a lot of money made by a lot of shareholders, including myself, and I love it.
Now, Kevin, a lot of times people are listening, a lot of entrepreneurs are listening to this, and they always ask me, so what should they look for in a mentor?
Great question. So mentors should be able to help you in a lot of ways. And so many mentors do it like for no charge, and that's pretty cool if you can get that. They're not all free. Sometimes a mentor, if you're needing a lot of time, I'm good to mentor lots of folks, and I've got lots of examples of people that I've mentored and helped and create amazing success. But if somebody really I need you to do this, and I need you to build some funnels, and then we got to charge for that, right? But at the end of the day, a good mentor can help you build your team. I make introductions to the people that I mentor. So I've got one mentor, he runs a children's home in Peoria, Illinois, and his name is Matt George, and I've been mentoring him. And so I've been making lots of introductions for him. So that's one. Number two, and that's a nonprofit. So let's go back to entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurs, I can help them raise capital. I can introduce them to the right people that might invest in them, right? So mentors can do all of that kind of stuff. They can be a sounding board. They can, be there and to hold you accountable also, by the way. I mean, that's one of the first things that I like to do is if I'm going to mentor you, let's be able to see where you are here and where you are week to week, month to month, and have some accountability. Because sometimes, it's funny. This morning at 6:30 in the morning, I was at my personal trainer's gym working out, right? Now, why do I do that? He's holding me accountable, okay? And I said to myself, why do I do it? Because if I work out myself, I'm probably not going to push myself for an hour the way he's pushing me, right? So he's sort of a mentor in the world of staying in shape for me. And they hold you accountable. They push you. They drive you. They do the things that you maybe don't see. And there's one big thing a mentor should be doing, and this is why I like to get involved in companies, is I have had dozens of exits from deals and where we sold the company, et cetera. And that's, at the end of the day, what are you in business for? Now, many people, you get cash flow, you're in business to make money, pay for your overhead, have a happy life, and keep your wife happy with a paycheck regularly or cash flow on a regular basis. But at some point, many people, they want to exit, okay? I mean, back in 1991, I had a stock that went from $1 a share to over $10 a share, and eventually to $20 a share. I had millions of shares of stock in that company. I exited, okay? Let's take some chips off the table. That's what people should be doing. Too many entrepreneurs forget that they should, hey, if you start an Amazon business right now, there's a load of people out there rolling up Amazon companies. So don't be afraid to set your sights on a number that you can exit with, because it's time to make some money on an exit. And many mentors have been through these exits, and they know how to help you do that in the most profitable fashion.
Yeah. Curious, what are some of the best exits you've had with Shark Tank? I'm curious, what are some of the best deals that you guys have done?
So look, it's one of the craziest things that I did on Shark Tank is I'm sitting there, I'm taking a pitch. This woman comes out, she's like, hey, for cat owners, one of the biggest problems, and again, what's the problem? Kitty litter, right? It's dirty. Cats are running through it. Then they run through the house. You got a baby crawling in the carpets, and there's cat poop in there, right? It's like, does this ever happen to you? It's unhealthy. It's costly. What if I told you you could throw your litter away, never have to buy litter again? I'm like, I'm all ears. It's called City Kitty. Cat. It's a toilet training system that teaches the cat to jump on the toilet, go to the bathroom, and jump down and be done. Okay. I said, wow. She shows me videos of this during the pitch. I'm like, I'm in. The reason I was in, because it was a problem solver, and this was a product that was cheap, $29, but it was going to go viral. I knew we could take this viral. So I got the deal done, we went to The View, we went to the Today Show, we got on Good Morning America, we got in Wall Street Journal, Philadelphia Inquirer, dozens and dozens and dozens of articles, newspapers, TV stations. I personally went on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and Barbara Walters and presented it, grew the company and to 10 million, made a lot of cash in the process. That was an amazing little deal. Now, I'll tell you one of the biggest ones that you mentioned, Lori Grenier did one called
is that scrub thing, right? The scrub thing? The scrub pad. Yeah, scrub pad. I remember. Right. I remember seeing that.
So, yeah. Now that product ended up being huge. Now this is the funny thing about Shark Tank is, like, Barbara Corcoran and I did a fitness product together. O'Leary and I did a guitar deal together. Herjavec and I did an olive oil deal together. And Lori did the Scrub Daddy all to herself, but now I have the rights to Amazon and we're crushing it. So, I mean, there's been some great successes there. I think Cuban had an exit in a deal that brought him about 10 million. But, you know, this is the thing. Shark Tank is not really, it's not like, if you're an investor, I get investors that say to me, oh, Shark Tank, that there's too much crap on there that, you know, that I would never invest in any of those deals. And I'm like, well, hey, I have, and I've made money, but the reality is this. I mean, we did say to Mark Burnett one day, we did 5 or 6 in a row and nobody was touching any of the deals to invest in. Mark came down and said, guys, can you invest in something here? This is, you know, you got to make good TV. We said, Mark, the last 5 products weren't very good here, you know, pitches. So, you know, there are a lot of made for TV deals there. And I mean, I think they thought City Kitty was going to be a made for TV deal, but I bought it because it was viral. And so, you know, you gotta understand, it's not a hardcore investment platform. It's really a TV show made to entertain people. But there are some great investments available there. And, you know, it's been a really cool opportunity. And there's one thing a lot of people don't even realize. So there's a guy, he had a sausage making company and he went on Shark Tank, got turned down. We all walked from the deal. He ended up doing $1 million in sales over the next 7 days. So he was only looking, I think, for like 150 grand. He made like 300 grand on the sales. So like, hey, someone could have invested in that, got their money back pretty quickly off the sales that came in. So there is some added benefit to having everything on ABC, as well as now CNBC airs 2 hours a night of Shark Tank. So we get a lot of play with those shows and they run on YouTube and all around the world too. So it's been a great place and I've had some really cool deals. Also, I don't have it on today, but I invested in a jewelry company. We took it right to QVC. This thing did 5 million its first week out. So on to the races from there. So a lot of great stuff on Shark Tank.
Now, Kevin, you said that you worked out with your trainer at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm a fitness guy. I own a bunch of gyms. I own supplement companies and things like that. I find it fascinating because, you know, you said you've been doing this for 38 years. So I'll just assume you're 38 years old, you know, and, you know, and
64 this coming.
well, so you see, I was going to ask you that, but I mean, you're 64 years old. You look like you are in your mid 30s. You know what I mean? You know, and so what are, you know, I want to know for me, this is a question for me, you know, how do you stay so young? You know, what is your training routine look like? What is your eating habits look like? You know, because obviously, you know, being an entrepreneur, being a mentor, being somebody all your life, you grind it. You grind it all your life, you know, but you don't look like you grind it. You look like you look fresh, you look good. Every time I see you, you look good, you know, and you're healthy. So what's the secret?
Well, I mean, I will say that I do thank my parents because we have good genes in the family. I have a sister 74 that looks like she's in her 50s, and a sister 60. She'll be 70 this year. She looks like she's 50. So I come from good stock. You know, say God bless that. And my mom was amazing. My dad lived till he was 93 years old. So, but I will say that when I turned 50, I was 20 pounds heavier than I am right now, and I was not in good shape. And I got insurance, and I was not, you know, the preferred and all of that. And so I said to myself, you know, my father, when he got to 90 years old, he grabbed me and he says, Kevin, he said, if I'd have known I was going to live this long, I would have started taking care of myself a lot sooner. Okay. A lot better, a lot sooner. And so when I hit 50 years old, I said, I'm going to live till I'm 90. I don't want to hit 70 and say, I've got a, you know, bad liver and I got a bad this. And so I come from an Irish family. You know, we all had our days of drinking and all. At 50 years old, I said, I'm done. I don't need it. There's no benefit to this. And I stopped drinking. Just stop. My wife said, really? And never had a drink since. And I'm like, I've never been to a meeting or anything. I just said, I don't want to drink. It's not healthy. I want to wake up every day feeling like I'm jumping out of bed. She's, so my wife's like, wow, you've done it. And it's pretty amazing. You've stuck to it. It increased my metabolism. I started working out. I do 3 days a week. I'm not a gym rat, but I do like to go to the gym a couple days here and there. But I also, on the days I'm not in the gym, I'm running around the neighborhood, doing some push-ups in the morning and doing my own stuff. So even when I'm on the road, do some of the same things. So I had a conscious mental decision that I'm going to take care of myself better, get in shape. And I'm the same weight I am right now that I graduated high school. So I feel great, and just knock on some wood here. I hope to have, if I could buy that ticket to 90 years old, I'd be purchasing it right now. So God bless. My father had a great life, and he died of natural causes, just old age, no cancer, no nothing. And I'd love to do the same thing.
Now, are there any daily rituals or routines that you do that you think everybody should do?
Well, I think, tuning in, getting the blood flowing is important. So I like to do that first thing in the morning. I have rituals of, this is just today's newspapers that were sitting out front of my house this morning, okay? I get 5 newspapers delivered, and now some of them are stopping actually printing because they're, of COVID and everything. But I read 2 hours a day. I just like to be a well-informed person. I love podcasts. I go on just like we're doing right now. I encourage folks to, what am I doing right now? I'm building my brand by collaborating with you guys. You've got a network of followers. We're collaborating together. So it's a daily ritual of mine. I have my own podcast, but I'm on a podcast sometimes as many as 2 or 3 or 4 in a day. Okay. In fact, I'll be doing another one at 1:30 this afternoon. And then I'll be doing one this evening at 11:30 p.m. in Malaysia with 15,000 people tonight. So, I'm just telling you that you got to connect, you got to collaborate, you got to build your brand, you got to get out there. Don't stay at home and stick your head in the sand like a lot of people have done with COVID. Get out there and connect, make yourself known, and show your unique services and propositions out in the marketplace.
It always fascinates me, Kevin, someone like you who has done so much. You have achieved so much, you, like I said, are multi-millionaire. You've done billions in sales. You've achieved so much, but you're 64. You don't look 64, but what drives you at this age to do a podcast this morning and then do another podcast at 11:30 at night, and work all the way through and push all the way through? That to me is fascinating, because at some point, most people, when they look at someone like you and they say, well, he's achieved so much, why don't you just chill by the pool or go by the beach and drink some umbrella drinks and call it a day? What drives you now?
The pool during the day here today, but that's funny. With COVID, last year I traveled 200 days. And when this all hit, one of the things I said, I said to myself, I'm going to push all the way. When I'm 65, I'm going to have a little bit of a slower path. But one of the things that drives me is partnerships. So I'm doing this tonight with one of my partners because he asked me to. So I'm mentoring and I'm partnering, and I've got 2 kids. One's 32 and one's 22. I'm trying to show by great example what we can do. And so they're following in my footsteps. Both of them are full-time employees of my entity, and they're partners in ventures with me. And so I believe that you need to lead by example of that. And so, I love doing it. And, this is the thing. I do it at my choice, right? So I'm not doing it because somebody told me I have to. I'm doing it because I want to. Yeah. And yes, I've got one tonight in Malaysia, one tomorrow night in Singapore, and that's it for the week. I'm going to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be playing golf, hitting the pool, maybe hitting the beach. I take my time off. I get my time away, but it's, you know, I've got about 25 ventures and businesses and partners and public boards that I'm on across the board. And so I'm dedicated to those ventures and making it happen and teaching my kids how to be good entrepreneurs. And that's what this Mentor to Millions is all about, by the way, is how can you get people like me, like Kevin Harrington? I mean, I have Richard Branson, Barbara Corcoran is a mentor. She's a smart lady, Barbara Corcoran, let me tell you something. And so, you know, I love talking to Barbara and getting great advice. And I just have to say that it's all about tuning in to the right kind of advice and building the right dream team. And it all starts by getting the right mentor or mentors. Okay.
Appreciate it so much, Kevin. I know you've been mentoring everybody on this podcast right now. They're taking notes, they're loving it. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and just coming on here and sharing everything you've learned over the last
Great
30
wisdom,
years.
man. Great wisdom.
You guys are amazing. I love it. And I'm going to say 2 thumbs up, 1 for each of you. And it's been a pleasure to be here. And you know, hopefully if anybody wants to check out the book, I think it's, I don't know if we have a URL, kevinmentor.com or mentorkevin.com. Maybe we could show people how they can get an advanced copy. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely include a link everywhere. Guys, you can follow him on Instagram at Kevin Harrington. And so
He needs no introduction, man. If you don't know who Kevin is, then I don't know where you've been, man. Yeah. Kevin needs no introduction. Make sure you check out his book. You know, make sure you check out his website. And man, you know, I'm going to tell you that, you know, honestly, you know, it's an honor to have you here, an honor to be in your presence, and thank you for everything that you've done for entrepreneurs and will be doing for entrepreneurs, and so many you pat the way for so many people to become millionaires, and you're going to do more of that with your book. We appreciate you
guys. Thank you, and I appreciate it. Well, let's send people to the link so they can check it out. And thanks for having me today. Great job. Have a great day. Take care.
Hey guys, if you like today's episode, do me a huge favor. Go and leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, leave me a review, and tag a few friends that you think can benefit from what we shared today. Really appreciate it. God bless.